Hey y'all, thanks again for joining me today. As every Friday, I'll be leading us through a beginner's Vinyasa yoga class. And I call it beginner simply because I don't expect everybody to know how to get into a pose simply by just calling out the name. So I take time to break down the poses, we flow those poses, or we tie those poses into a flow, and we incorporate in our breath. So last week we focused on toning our arms. This week we're going to work on our core. And unfortunately, I'm feeling a little under the weather today, so we're gonna get started on our backs. Before we get started, let me just remind everyone to always listen to your body, and if you have any existing medical conditions, make sure you check with a doctor before you start any exercise regimen. So now let's get on our backs. Placing your feet on the mat, we'll start by separating them mat width distance apart, and we'll come down flat onto our backs on the mat. Let the knees fall together. And just take a few breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Nice deep breaths. Filling the body entirely with air and releasing the breath nice and slow out through the mouth. A few more breaths just like this. Starting nice and slow for our warm-up. Take your left arm across your chest, holding on with the right hand near the shoulder. And then switching sides, right arm comes across. So just relieving any stiffness in the shoulders to start. Place your arms on the floor in cactus arms, so elbows are bent and palms face up, just helping to open in the chest. If you like a little more sensation in the shoulders, slide the arms so they're above the head and grab onto opposite elbows. If you ever try out a variation that doesn't feel completely right in the body, just take a step back, it's okay. Focusing on the breath here. If the arms are overhead, lower them down to cactus arms. Then everyone straighten the arms out at shoulder height. Palms should still be face up. Draw the knees into the chest. Let them fall over to the right into recline spinal. And lower the knees so they're in line with the lower ribs. Knees and feet should be stacked. And head turns to the left. Waking up the core here with a twist. Just bringing some extra blood flow to the belly. Just kind of giving the belly a heads up. Hey, we're gonna put you to work today. Draw the knees back to the chest. Let them fall over to the left. Head to the right. Make sure those knees are in line with the lower ribs. Want a nice gentle twist to start. Knees come back to center, and place the feet back to the mat. Lower your arms down by your sides, palms face down. If you can't touch the back of the heels with your fingertips, I want you to walk the feet in. Feet should be about hips width distance apart. Bend the elbows so fingertips face up to the ceiling. Pressing into the arms as well as the feet, lift the hips into bridge pose. Take a few breaths here. Warming up the core a little bit more now. Lowering the hips back down to the mat, nice and easy. Let's take that one more time. Hips lift up into the air, pressing into the arms as well as the feet.
keeping the ankles in line with the knees. Bring the hips back down to the mat. Draw knees into chest. Hold on to the legs. Pull them close to the body for a nice counter stretch. Lower both feet back to the mat. Extend the right leg up to the ceiling, holding on to the back of the thigh, pressing out through the heel. Now relieving stiffness in the legs. Point through the toes and hold for a few breaths here. Cross the ankle into figure four, so ankle crosses over left knee. And place the arms back at shoulder height. Gentle opening of the hip here. Extend right leg back to the ceiling and place foot to mat. Left leg extends up, pressing out through the heel, hold on to the thigh. Holding for a few breaths here. Go ahead and point through the toes, hold here. Cross the ankle into figure four and place the arms back at shoulder height. Extend the leg up to the ceiling. Place foot to mat. Draw both knees into the chest. Hold on to the back of the thighs this time. Let's start to rock forwards and backwards. Let's start slow, gaining some momentum, and rock right up into seated. Once you make seated, come into tabletop, hands in the knees, wrist under shoulders, knees under hips, and round the spine into cat pose, tucking chin to chest. Taking a few breaths here with the spine rounded. Return to tabletop pose, then lift and arch the spine into cow. Gaze up to the ceiling. One more time, rounding back to cat. Just releasing the muscles around the spine. And lift and arch into cow. Return to tabletop. Lift up to the fingertips. Extend your right leg long behind you and point through the toes. Hold for a few breaths here. We're toning the leg. We're still warming up the core. Lift out of the shoulders and draw belly back to spine. Give me a crunch, drawing right knee to chest, rounding the spine, lifting the belly high, and then extend the leg behind you. We're going to take 3 crunches today. Exhale to crunch. Draw the belly in, lift the knee high. Inhale to extend. Exhale to crunch. Draw belly in and step the foot through to lunge this time. Stepping ankle right below the knee, manually placing the foot there into alignment if you need to. Uncurl the left toe so top of foot is to the mat. Inhale, breath through the nose, lift both arms overhead. Exhale out the mouth, bring hands back down to the floor. We want nice slow movement here. So let's imagine we're moving through water or nice thick medium. That's going to slow down our movements and slow down our breath. Draw the breath in through the nose, arms up. Exhale, hands down. Nice, slow, steady, and control. Keep the belly drawing back to the spine. Inhale, last time, arms up. Exhale, hands to mat. Extend the right leg long behind you, pointing through the toes, keeping core and leg active, and return to tabletop. Left leg extends. Let's hold it here. Give me a crunch, knee to chest. As you exhale, draw the belly in. Inhale to extend. Exhale, crunch number 2. Inhale. Last time, breathe out, draw knee in, round the spine, and step the foot through to lunge. Draw the breath in through the nose, arms overhead. Breath out through the mouth, hands down. Breath in. Breath out. Last time, arms lift and arms lower. Extend the right leg long behind you. Point through those toes. Return to tabletop. Settle into child's, hips to heel. Separate the knees, make space for your belly. Arms extend down the length of the mat and forehead to mat. We'll finish our warm up here with a few breaths. Breathe nice and deeply into the back side of the body. Try to find some comfort in this stillness. If you feel discomfort in the hips or the knees, rise back to tabletop and take puppy pose instead, elbows to mat. A few more breaths here. Slowly find your tabletop position and prepare for down dog. Spread those fingers nice and wide. Distribute the weight out of the base of the palm, rock it forward. Evenly distribute the weight onto your hands and through the pads of the fingers. Tuck your toes onto the mat. Lift the knees off the mat, lift hips, bring belly back to thighs. Knees can stay bent to start. Press into the mat to lift out of the shoulders. Again, belly draws in, particularly the low belly, the space between the hips. If you like, you can work to straighten the legs. Try straightening one at a time. And if that doesn't feel right, go back to knees bent. Take a nice few deep breaths here. Total body stretch. Look forward and step your right foot up to lunge. Step up to the top of the mat into half lift, flattening the back, hands to shins. Lower to folds, bending knees, dropping belly to thighs, arms and head hang heavy. We rise up to standing, one vertebrae at a time. Take your time, nice and slow. Let every vertebrae in the spine have its moment. Chin comes up from the chest last. Make sure you're standing at the top of your mat, feet are hips width distance apart. Stand nice and tall, root down through your feet, stretch out through the crown of your head. Slowly lift the arms out at your sides and overhead, gazes up to the ceiling. Lower to forward fold, drop belly to thighs. Head hangs heavy. Rise to half lift, back flattens. Step back into a plank position, bending the knees, planting the hands, and step back into a traditional plank. Drop the knees to the mat. Lean forward, shoulders out past the wrist, and lower chest down to the mat, elbows close to the body, and then the hips come down. Top of the feet to the mat and hands under shoulders. Chest lifts to baby cobra, shoulders wrap behind the heart. Then press to child's, hips to heels, forehead to mat. Just a breath or two here. We're warming up the body and picking up a little speed. Slowly rise back to tabletop and lift the hips to down dog. Lift out of those shoulders, hips up to the ceiling. Take a few breaths here. Gazes down towards the toes. Heels reaching for the mat if legs are straight. Look forward and step your left foot up to lunge. Step up to half lift, flatten the back. Lower to forward folds, belly to thighs, and rise up to standing, nice and slow. That was one sun salutation. We're going to take 3. So arms lift overhead, gaze is up. Lower to folds, belly drops down to the thighs. Rise, half lift, flatten your back, and step into plank. Drop knees to mat, lean forward, chest comes down to mat, elbows close to body, hips down. Lift the chest to baby cobra, and press to child's, hips to heels. A little shorter of a rest this time. Take a few deep breaths. See if you can feel the beating of your heart. Slowly rise back to tabletop. Lift those hips up to the ceiling, into down dog. Breath or two here. Look forward and step your right foot up to lunge. Step up to half lift, flatten the back. Lower to folds, belly to thighs, and rise to standing. Last time through. Deep breath in through the nose, lift arms overhead. Exhale out the mouth to forward fold. Inhale to half lift, back flattens. We'll step into plank and drop the knees. Exhale as you lean forward and bring chest to mat. Inhale to lift the chest, baby cobra. Exhale to child's, hips to heels. Inhale right back to tabletop. Exhale as hips come up to the ceiling to down dog. Last one, take a few breaths here. Step your left foot up to lunge. As you inhale, step up to half lift. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale as we rise to standing, taking your time. Once you're up, just pause at the top of your mat, standing nice and tall. Once again, working down through your feet, stretching out to the top of your head. Lift the left arm up to the ceiling and take a side bend into Ardha Chandrasana. So my left hip points out to the left. I'm reaching out with my left fingertips. Core is nice and tight. You don't want to crunch onto the right side of your body. Find length on the right side as well. And if you like a challenge, raise that right arm up so both arms are framing the ear. And lift up through center. Right arm is up now by itself and left arm is down. Reach up to the ceiling and take a side bend. Keep that core nice and active. If you want the challenge, bring that left arm on up. Nice strong core here. Lift chin from chest. Lift up to the ceiling. Both arms up now. Gaze is up and lower to forward fold, belly to thighs. Rise, half lift, flatten your back. Step into plank. Drop the knees to tabletop and pause here. Lift up to the fingertips, lift out of the shoulders. Right leg extends behind you, point through the toes. Exhale into crunch, knee to chest. Inhale. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale. Last time, draw the knee to chest, hold it here, don't hold your breath, keep that knee lifting nice and high, and step the foot through to lunge. Left toes should be curled onto the mat. Let's lift the left knee into the air, lift hips, then chest forward. We'll place our hands on our thighs and extend arms overhead into Anjaneyasana. Make sure right knee stays stacked right over the ankle. Find length at the sides of the body. We'll hold here. Let's open right up into Warrior Two today. So we'll open to the left side of the mat. Left heel rotates down and makes contact with the floor. Right knee still bent over the ankle and arms lower to shoulder height. Hips and shoulders should be facing the left edge of the mat. Gaze is out towards the right hand. Hold your Warrior Two pose here. I'm just going to switch sides so you guys can see me a little better. Lower right elbow down to side angle, so elbow lowers to the thigh. Left arm frames the ear. Left ribs are reaching high to the ceiling. Keep that belly drawing in. Inhale back to Warrior Two, arms lift. Exhale, side angle, elbow comes down, draw the belly in. Inhale, Warrior Two. Last time, exhale, side angle, draw the belly in, find the twist to the ceiling, and we'll lift back to Warrior Two. Take reverse warrior, right arm up to the ceiling, let left arm fall down. Straighten the forward leg. Come back to Warrior Two, knee bends, arm shoulder height, and windmill right into lunge. Left heel lifts off the mat, hands back down to the floor. Step back into a plank position. Drop the knees to tabletop. Lean forward, lower down, elbows close to body until you're flat to mat. Lift chest, baby cobra, and press to child's, hips to heels. Take a little bit of a breather here. Slowly rise to tabletop and find down dog, hips up to the ceiling. If you're looking for some ease in your down dog, try the knees bent. Keep the hips lifting high. You get a little bit of ease in the legs here. Or you can find some movement, bending one knee and then the other. Look forward and step your right foot into lunge. Step up to half lift, flatten the back. Lower to folds, belly to thighs, and rise to standing. Still take your time. Chin lifts last. Bring right arm up to the ceiling and find the side bend, Ardha Chandrasana. Again, you have the option to lift your free arm if you like the challenge for your core. It's up to you. You rise up to the ceiling and lower arms down by your sides. Left arm up. Find the side bend. Optional to raise that opposite arm. Bring both arms up to the ceiling and lower back to fold. Rise, half lift, flatten the back, and step into plank. Lowering the knees to tabletop. Lift up to the fingertips. Left leg extends, pointing through the toes. Exhale to crunch, knee to chest, round the spine. Inhale to extend. Exhale. Inhale. Last one, hold it here. Don't hold the breath. See if you can lift the knee a little higher than you did last time and step the foot through into lunge. Right toes tuck onto mat. Let's lift those hips, lift the chest, draw belly in. Hands to thighs and arms overhead. Anjaneyasana. Open to the right side of your mat into warrior two. So right heel makes contact with the mat. Arms are at shoulder height. Gaze is out towards the front of the mat. On the exhale, lower to side angle, elbow down and right arm frames the ear. Inhale back to warrior two. Exhale, side angle, draw the belly in, find the twist. Inhale. Last time, exhale, elbow down. Inhale. Warrior two. Find reverse warrior, left arm up to the ceiling, straighten the forward leg. Return to warrior two, knee bends, and windmill down into lunge, right heel off the mat. Step back into plank, drop knees to mat. I've got a beetle on my mat right here. I'm gonna try to avoid. Lean forward, lower all the way down to you're flat on your mat. Lift your chest to baby cobra. And press to child's. Take your rest here. Hopefully this beetle will pass off my mat while we're resting in child's. Slowly rise to tabletop. Lift the hips to down dog. Last down dog of the day. Take a few breaths here. Make them nice and deep. In through the nose and out through the mouth. You're more than welcome to modify your down dog to make it more comfortable. Focus on the breath. Look forward and step your left foot up to lunge. Step up to half lift. Lower to fold. We're going to hang out and fold for a few breaths. Make sure the weight is primarily in the balls of the feet. Make sure your head and your arms are hanging heavy. If you'd like to create a little more length in the spine, try taking ragdoll, grabbing opposite elbows. Maybe try closing the eyes for a breath or two. If you're in ragdoll, release your arms and we'll rise to standing a little slower than we did the last time. We're starting to slow down the practice. Slow down the movements. Chin lifts from the chest last. Take a minute standing nice and tall on your mat, arms at your sides, palms face forward. We're going to move into some balancing poses. Let's shift all the way into our left leg. Spread those toes nice and wide, plant them down to the mat. Make sure you're not locking out the joint. Instead, you're putting a tiny micro bend in the knee. That way we're relying on our muscle to hold us up instead of our joint. Lift the left arm into the air and right arm's down by your side. As we inhale, lift the right foot off the mat, touching the right fingertips. Exhaling, foot down to the mat.
Inhale, foot lifts. Exhale. So let's keep working here at your own breath. If this is enough of a challenge for you, I want you to stay here doing exactly this through the length of the exercise. The next time you bring your foot up, if you can manage to hold on to the ankle, I want you to do that instead. So either you're lifting the foot up and down or you've got a hold on the ankle, either or. If you're holding the ankle, gently kick into your hand and lift your chest. So now we're turning on our core, asking our low back and our core to help keep our leg lifted. If you want the challenge, continue to fall forward. As you fall forward, keep kicking into the hand, keep lifting the chest, keep that core active. We're going to hold here, don't hold the breath. Make sure that standing leg isn't locked out, yet there's a tiny micro bend. If you fell forward, rise back to standing. Try to keep it nice and steady. It's okay if you're wobbly. We'll lower our foot down to the mat and we'll all keep our foot down to the floor, then lower our arm down by our side. For a counter stretch, draw right knee in towards the chest and then step the foot down to the mat. We're going to switch sides, so all the weight's in the right foot now. Right arm up to the ceiling. And we'll start by inhaling the left foot up, exhaling it down. A few times like this just to start. You can stay here or grab a hold of the ankle. If you're holding onto the ankle, kick into the hand and lift the chest. And then last option for the challenge is to fall forward. Whatever position you're in, make sure you're still breathing. If you fell forward, rise back to standing. We'll all lower our foot down to the mat and keep it there, and lower our arms down by our side. Make sure you're standing at the top of your mat, feet hips width distance apart. Lift the arms out at your sides and overhead. Give me a nice deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, hands out, down by your sides and down towards the floor. Again, breath in, arms up. Exhale. Last time, breath in. Exhale to forward fold, belly to thighs. Inhale, half lift, flatten the back. And exhale as you step back into plank. We're going to hold this plank here and add a little bit of core work. If you're tired, just drop the knees to tabletop and wait for me there. If you like the challenge, step your right foot off the mat and then step it back. Left foot steps off the mat and steps back. Keep doing this for the next 10 seconds. Make sure you're breathing. We've got our last 5 here. Finish up whatever side you're on and drop the knees to tabletop. Lean forward, shoulders out to wrist, lower all the way down to your flat to your mat. Place arms along your sides, palms face up, tops of feet to mat. Let the heels fall out and turn your head to one side so you're resting on your cheek. You've put in a lot of work today. Let your body relax heavy onto the floor. Let go. Try closing the eyes. Listening to the beat of your heart. Following the rise and fall of your chest. Slowly turning your head to the opposite side. Bring your chin to the mat. Place your hands underneath your shoulders and press into rounded child's pose. Arms along the sides of the body, palms face up, and forehead to mat. Remember, you can always take puppy pose if you're uncomfortable in child's. We'll take a few breaths here. Once again, just hanging heavy to the mat, letting shoulders roll down towards the floor. Slowly rise up to a seated position. Swing the legs around front, sit down the length of your mat, and you're seated flat on your sits bones. Start with the feet flexed. Lift arms overhead, drop chin to chest. Round the spine into rounded back stretch, lowering hands to knees, elbows point out to either side of the room. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Just breathe into the stretch here. Slowly lift the spine upright. Place your hands on either sides of your hips. Find some length through your spine for a counter stretch before relaxing back to neutral. Bend the right knee, placing the foot onto the mat. Use your left arm to hold onto the bent knee. And we'll open a spinal twist, placing our right hand directly behind us, gazing over the right shoulder. Slowly release the twist, coming back to center and straighten the leg. Left knee bends and right arm holds on. Open the twist, look over the shoulder. Slowly unwind, returning to center, and straighten the leg. If you're not already seated in the center of your mat, go ahead and shimmy your way there now. Bend both knees, placing your feet on the mat. Hands on the back of the thighs. It's important to make sure that you're on your sits bones and not your tailbone here. Lengthen the spine and send your chest forward. Shoulders drop down the back.
Let's walk the feet in towards the body so we're up on the tippy toes. And we'll hold here. Last little bit of core work for the class. Here's option one in the Savasana variation. If you want a little more core work and a challenge for your balance, try floating the feet off the mat so that ankles are in line with the heels, chest stays lifted. Last option for a challenge is to bring those arms out at your sides. Makes it a little harder. Keep the chest still lifting and belly drawing in. Breathe here. Holding for about 10 seconds. You can always take it back a step if you need to. If your arms are out, bring them back to the thighs. If your feet are lifted, lower them down to the floor. And let's all walk our feet out so they're in a more comfortable position, flat to the mat. One vertebrae at a time, let's roll down until we're flat on our backs. Straighten your legs down the length of your mat. Bring your arms overhead. Give me a nice long stretch through the toes, through the fingertips. Then lower the arms down by your sides. Draw right knee in towards the chest into Uttanasana. Feet are flexed. Hold on right below the knee. Full thigh close to the body. Draw the knee out towards right armpit so you can target the hip a little bit. We'll take a few more breaths here. Gently release and lower the leg back to mat. Left knee into the chest, hold on here. Feet are flexed. Draw the knee out to the armpit. And release, leg back to mat. Both knees drawn to the chest now, holding on below the knees. Feet are flexed and side by side. If it's uncomfortable to hold on to the front of the legs, you can always hold on to the back of the thighs instead. And just take a few breaths here. Massaging our internal organs, relieving tension from the low back. Maybe eyes are closed as we're coming to an end of our practice. It allows us to bring a little more attention to our bodies, be a little more present in the moment. Extend both legs up to the ceiling into our inversion. Now holding on to the back of the thighs if you're not there already for a little support. Ankles line up over the hips. We'll hold for about 30 seconds here. If you need ease at any time in this pose, bend the knees, drawing them closer to the body while keeping the heels elevated in the air.
down the nervous system, making it a little easier for us to settle into our final resting pose. So we're sort of inducing relaxation here with this added blood flow to the head. And we'll take a few more breaths here. Draw the knees all the way into the chest, lowering heels to the body. Place your arms at shoulder height, palms face up. Knees fall to the right into reclined spinal. Head turns to the left. Lift knees to center. Let them fall over to the left. Head turns to the right. Lift the knees back to center. Wrap your arms around your legs, pulling them close to the body. Lift your head to meet your knees. Take a nice deep breath in. Hold it at the top. Squeeze everything tight. Muscles in the face, fingers, toes, legs. Hold here. And then exhale out the mouth. Releasing into final resting pose. Spreading your arms and legs nice and wide. Closing the eyes. And settling into stillness. We'll rest here for about 3 minutes. Let every exhale relax you more onto your mat. Let every exhale relieve tension from your body. Let every exhale relieve stress from your mind. Begin to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bring movement back into your body. Gently roll over to the right side of your body, taking a moment of stillness on your side. Perhaps using your arm as a pillow for support for your head. Keeping your eyes closed or your gaze low to the mat, press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. We'll finish with 3 cleansing breaths together as one. We're going to take a 3-part breath today. So as we breathe in through the nose, we'll fill belly first, ribs, followed by the chest. We'll exhale everything smooth out through the mouth. Let's start on an exhale, emptying all the air you have out of the body. Inhale through the nose, filling the belly, the ribs, the chest, and exhale out through the mouth. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest, exhale. Last time, deep breath into belly, breath into ribs, breath into chest, and exhale. Take a second to thank your body and your mind for getting you through this practice today, and I thank you for letting me lead you on this practice. Namaste. As always, thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. During the summer, I'll be teaching a core class, so somewhat like this. It's really challenging, it's a lot of fun, super rewarding, and as to kind of level out the playing field, there are no down dogs, so I think that makes it pretty fair. If you enjoyed my class today, please visit me again next Friday at the same time, 10 o'clock. If you're looking for something a little slower paced, I also teach a stress relief class on Sunday, lots of slow movement. It's a really great class, and that'll be available at 11 on Sunday. Thanks so much, you guys. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend.